Yeah, just the ability to be forward thinking, I think, and to work on the business and not in the business, although I do work in the business a lot still. But I think just the ability to have a vision and clear defined goals for the business definitely puts you in the right direction. So I think those are my strengths, as well as all the financial work that goes into real estate deals, whether it's on the reporting side or on the acquisition side. I had pretty extensive experience with that. So those happen to be my strengths.
Welcome to a new season of Leadership Live podcast, where talented people become extraordinary leaders. I'm Daphne Horowitz, and I'm here to help you cut through the noise and talk about real leadership issues. Down to earth, solid, caring and confident leadership. No theory, no pie in the sky, no frills or fluff. Because this is what the world needs most right now. For you to lead with confidence, clarity and impact, so that you can build a business that builds people, grows profit and makes a difference. Anthony is a dynamic young entrepreneur with a big vision and tons of talent. He's facing the great quest for business growth and needs help strategizing how to do this efficiently and effectively. So we recorded a coaching session to share with you today. The best part of this coaching session for me was really digging into the issue underneath the issue. Sometimes the problems or challenges we're facing need to be taken to a level deeper to discover what's really going on within us before we can solve for the problem. It could be that the simple solution is staring you right in the face, but something is stopping you from taking the step, or you keep trying to take a step forward but hit challenges and obstacles as you try. This is what was happening for Anthony, and I had a sense that we needed to go digging a little bit deeper to get to what's really holding him back. Seeing Anthony get that insight and start to mull over it was awesome, because this got his brain working at a new level. You can talk about an issue and go round and round in circles, but when you can get to that level of depth, as we managed to do, we can really get to the root of the problem and then start thinking about it differently and find a new solution. And after we did that, I challenged Anthony again. I asked him for his timeline to achieve his big vision, and then I asked him if he could get to his vision even quicker, maybe even before he feels completely ready. Hiring was at the core issue in this conversation, and it always comes with risk, learning to trust, and trying different things as you bring different people on board. The question we were left with was, do you wait for a level of growth and then hire? Or do you hire so that you can enable that level of growth that you want? So have a listen and enjoy. And I'd love to know what insights get stirred up for you. So make sure to let me know. Visit my website at daphnahorowitz.com, where you can find all sorts of resources for leadership, and pop me a note to let me know what you think. How has listening to this conversation impacted you? So welcome, Anthony, and thank you for joining me today on this coaching conversation. I'm excited to be doing this with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Daphne. I really appreciate it.
So what would you like to talk about today?
I would like to talk about how to overcome challenges with growth. My company it's not small, it's not large, it's kind of right in the middle. And we have about maybe 10 employees, give or take. Most of them are employees. And again, I run a real estate company. So we manage apartment units, and we own and operate across the country, mostly in the US. Mostly it's on the East Coast. So we have about 340 apartment units, mostly workforce housing style units. So we have a super, pretty much basically a maintenance manager at every site. We're trying to figure out how to have a maintenance manager per region, so per state. So for example, we have properties all over the state of New Jersey, properties in the state of Pennsylvania, properties in the state of Florida, but we really don't have someone that's kind of overseeing the state portfolio. It's more of individual people at different properties. So what we're having a challenge with is just managing all these people instead of just hiring somebody to kind of take control of the properties within that, region of the state. So having a little bit of difficulty finding somebody, but hopefully we'll be able to.
And you are thinking it might be better to introduce a layer of regional kind of manager over the sites to take away some of the operational stuff from you, I would imagine, because are they all reporting directly to you two, all 10 of them?
Yeah, so we have, the way that we operate is we have a property management, she's almost an assistant, but I really call her our manager now, virtual. So they all report to her,
okay,
and then she reports to us.
Okay.
So, and we have Microsoft Teams set up, and everything kind of flows through there, the work orders. And, but I think what I'm getting at is there's 10 employees in terms of superintendents, leasing agents at the sites. So it's, how do we cut it down to maybe 3? Not that I want to lay people off or anything. I'm not really laying people off. We usually just give a discount on the rent to, help with different projects at the properties. It's just, there's too many people, in my opinion, to help grow the company, because at the corporate level, we're very lean. It's me and my partner. And we have on some deals, we have other partners as well, but for the most part, it's me and my partner. So we're trying to figure out how to reduce the staff and be a little bit more efficient.
Okay, so you're looking at efficiency, and I actually want to just step out of this problem for a moment and ask you, what is your goal for the business? So if we had to kind of put our imagination forward 2 or 3 years into the future, what do you see your business looking like if it was, imagine that you take yourself 3 years into the future and this business is exactly as amazing as you always envisioned it to be. So it's exactly where you want it to be. You're making the money or revenue that you want. What does it look like structurally in terms of how you operate within it? So take me to that vision. So let's say we're in 1st of February, actually, 2021. Let's go to 1st of February, 2024 and describe this vision to me. What does it look like at that point?
I think that for our company, my vision within the next 3 years would probably see if we can get to, 1,000 units. We've grown to 340 over the past.
Okay, so I'm going to just pause there for a moment and ask you to actually speak in present tense. So pretend that you've just time traveled 3 years into the future and describe to me what your business is looking like, because you've achieved all your goals. You've been able to check off all the things you wanted to achieve. It's there, it's done. Tell me what it looks like. Tell me what you've built. So speak from that perspective.
Sure. Yeah. So we have, in that period of time, we would be owning and operating close to 1,000 apartment units within the tri-state area and some Sunbelt states such as Florida, North Carolina, etc. And, I have one regional manager per state in terms of the maintenance. And then I have one leasing team or leasing agent team and one pinpoint contact per state and region as well. And, we still have our property management company, which we're building out, where we manage other clients' properties as well. So let's say we have 500 units there under our belt. So we own 1,000 units. We manage 500 units for other clients. So that's kind of where I'd like to be.
And how do you feel? And so now you have these 1,000 units that you own, 500 that you're managing for others. The structure is organized based on this regional management, and then people underneath that. How does it feel for you? What does it mean for you?
Yeah, it means that we have the ability to, even look further into the future. I'm pretty young. I'm in my late 20s, so 3 years from now is still not that long. So
how old will you be in 3 years' time?
I will be 31.
31. Woohoo!
Yep. Yep. So it's not that long, and if we can get there, it would be really, it would be a real milestone for me and personally and the business, obviously.
So it will give you a sense of achievement. Or
yes.
It is giving you a sense of achievement because we are in 2024.
Yes, and all of the other thing that I would look forward to is all of the opportunities that we purchase with our group of investors over the past year or two from now. 3 years from now would either be there would be some liquidity event, whether that's a cash out refinance or a disposition. So for everything that is being acquired now and last year.
What gives you the most buzz about being in your business, seeing it operate in this way?
Yeah, I think like I said before, I think efficiency and scale gives us the most
So
buzz.
you wake up in the morning feeling excited about efficiency and scale.
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely.
Tell me about that. I want to hear. What gives you excitement about that?
Definitely. So it's 2021.
We're back in 2021.
Anyway.
Okay.
Now we're back.
Let's go back to 2021.
Go back to 2021. It was the year of. It was the year of efficiency and hopefully scale for some people. Efficiency meaning, the inevitable kind of work from home and mandates to achieve certain business tasks or business strategies online and virtual. So you don't always have to drive and travel everywhere, even though it's still going to be relevant. It just gets me excited to kind of have the ability to work from basically my laptop, right? So, and you can kind of work from anywhere. So that gets me excited to keep building out scale and efficiency in a way that's almost in the cloud.
Yeah. So you actually love the fact that you don't have to be on location, the fact that you can sit further away, and it's almost like playing this game. What was this game? My kids had it actually, where they would actually build cities, and they would build, I don't know if you know the computer game. I don't know what
like
it's called.
The Sims and stuff like that.
Like The Sims, and there were others where they actually built these whole empires. But exactly like that, you're sitting at the computer and you are building stuff. You're actually building stuff without having to move from where you are. And actually that level of growth and scale and doing more is what really gives you that buzz and excitement.
Yes, no, absolutely.
Nice. And when you've achieved that level of growth and scale and efficiency, and you're doing it well and you can carry on building, what does that give you in your life? What does it enable for you?
It provides more freedom, I would say. Freedom with your time. Your real estate provides, if you do it right, financial freedom as well. So the combination of both is just, for me, key. The ability to spend more time with, family and friends, while still growing your business in an efficient manner. And by efficient, another, I'll just give you an example of an efficiency. We have, I mentioned we manage properties as well. We implemented the system where all the mail, and I didn't realize this was a thing, all the mail is virtual. So I literally have an app on my phone where people send a rent check and I can literally drag and drop it to our bank account and I don't know, 15, not even 15 seconds.
Amazing.
So I like the scale and efficiency because we used to drive to the post office every few days and it was a pain. So open the mail, figure out what is it, So the ability to outsource that as well as other functions of the business, I'm optimistic to see what comes in the future to figure out how we can do that more.
That's awesome. There's something about, for me, in what you're saying about, firstly, innovation. So finding new and exciting ways to do more with less kind of thing. How do you actually expand your ability and capability using technology and innovative ways to actually increase efficiency and create more growth? So it's that really excites you.
Yeah, like I said, that's one of the ways. We implemented a property management software as well, which is, we didn't used to have that. It was more of tracking on Excel. So trying to streamline that a little bit more. And, like I said, the kind of missing piece of the puzzle is just that regional manager per state at this point.
So it strikes me that you have that way of thinking. You are constantly thinking, how do I improve things? How do I do things better? How do I make things simpler? How do I, scale but use less resources? That's your way of thinking, and that's what excites you. I'm going to, before we go back to that question that you asked at the beginning, I really just want to ask about you. What are your particular strengths or talents, would you say, that drive? There's definitely a way of thinking here, a way of approaching things. What would you say are your key talents that contribute to being able to do this?
Yeah, just the ability to be forward thinking, I think, and to work, on the business and not in the business, although I do work in the business a lot still. But I think just the ability to have a vision and clear defined goals for the business, definitely push you in the right direction. So I think those are my strengths, as well as, all the financial work that goes into real estate deals, whether it's on the reporting side or on the acquisition side. Have had pretty extensive experience with that. So those happen to be my strengths.
Fantastic. So actually, what I'm hearing from you is a whole lot of things around the way that you operate specifically. You have the ability to have clear goals, think strategically about how the business should be operating so that it's more efficient, so that you can grow it, and have the structures and the systems and the innovation and the technology, and really be able to, create the puzzle, build the puzzles from your computer screen. So your thinking is there, your strengths are there, you know exactly what you're doing. You're facing this dilemma of, I need that layer of regional, because you're noticing that there's a lack of efficiency there. It feels like a lot of people running around doing certain things, but it can be done better and it can be done more efficiently. So what is the question? Because I think you have your answer. I'm not clear on what your question is.
Yeah, the question is, I guess the question is more of how can we find, somebody to, be the regional managers per each state that we trust and rely on.
So it's a recruiting question. How do you find people that we trust? Because you want. So is it a recruiting question? Because it's, you want that layer. It's going to make sense to you from an efficiency and scale point of view. The structures are very clear in your mind about how you want this to operate and how you want this to grow 3 years into the future and even beyond. So is it really about how do I find the right person, or is there something more there?
I think it's finding the right person and then figuring out if it works from there and figuring out the structure. So right now we're having a challenge finding the right person. We're not really, I don't have much experience with recruiting, so that's something that we need help with as well. And if we're even going about it the right way.
So what's the bigger question? Because if you don't have experience in recruiting, so it's about finding the person who can help you with the recruitment. But there was another question there about are you going about it the right way? What's that? I think that's more interesting.
Yeah. So what we did was we just posted a job description on Indeed, and that's it. So if there's a better way to be more efficient, we get resumes in, but they're not the resumes that we get aren't really a fit for the job. So
Okay.
there might be a better way to go about it. Maybe there's other websites or other tools.
So I'm going to ask you something else. I want to challenge this point a little bit, because I think, as I said, you've got a lot of clarity on where you're going and what you need to do. You've got the strength to support that. You know you need to find a person in this layer, and you know that this is what the structure of your organization looks like. Finding the right person is about also finding perhaps the right person to help you recruit. So you said you've tried things, you've got resumes, but I'm wondering if there's something else here that's holding the process back. Because it strikes me that you're the type of person that when you have a problem and you know the solution, you can get it done. Am I right on that?
Yeah, I mean, I like to think so. But like I said, it hasn't been too long.
What's the glitch? There's something else here. I'm going to be a little bit challenging, if I may. Do I have your permission? Sure. You can just play with this a little bit, but yes, recruiting is not a simple process, and you want to find the right people, and but you can figure that out. That you can do. It's speak to some recruitment specialists in your field, do some research. That's to me, that's the easy part. What else? What else is going on here?
What else is there? I think, that, after we hire that right person, it's, we talked about scale and efficiency before. We got to get to a point where this person that we eventually hire, whatever mechanism, through a third party or on our own that we hire, has the ability has the skill set and the ability, so we're not relying on him or her to use outside vendors, when it, relates to, replacing a water heater or replacing a boiler, or, dealing with some, plumbing, burst pipes. We just had that last night. So we got to be able to, like I said, have the confidence and the ability to hire somebody that has those skill sets. And as of right now, it's been a challenge. So once we do find that person, whether through a recruiter or through ourselves, we just want to be able to, I think the next challenge would be retaining as well. So how do you keep your employees motivated and retain them? Because we could find somebody really good and they may leave within 6 months for some reason. Maybe it's our fault. We're not paying attention to them or whatnot. So retaining and attaining.
There's something, yeah. There's something that's, I suppose, for me, still a little bit murky here. It feels like, What's the gap? What's missing? Because in theory, maybe it is just as simple as that, finding the right person with the right skills to do the job and retain them.
Yeah, it might be that it sounds very simple, but it is challenging. So
what's challenging you, Anthony, about it? What's challenging you? If you take a step back for a moment from the logistics, so here are the puzzle pieces that you need to put into place.
Yeah, so the challenge is we've had superintendents at our properties, and a lot of them aren't great. Okay. And the challenge is finding someone with the skill sets and the ability to kind of be independent. My phone blows up probably every 10 minutes from one of our supers when it shouldn't. That's not the way that buildings should be run. And, that they need help. So there's got to be a way, especially when you accumulate so many units, to streamline the efficiency. So whether it's having a main super and then having maybe an assistant super works underneath them, I don't know. It's just a matter of trying to properly staff each property. That's the challenge.
Okay, so it sounds to me a little bit like maybe you are not sure that this is the right way to go about it, because you're experiencing some challenges with your current superintendents that they aren't able to fulfill the role, and now you want to grow the role, but you're not 100% convinced that maybe that this person even exists, or that the skill set exists, that it can really be relied on. What sounds to me like what you're looking for is someone you can really rely on to take on this job, own it, do it, so that your phone does not blow up every 10 minutes with something that's happened and you've got to get involved.
That's correct.
Okay.
And that's very challenging.
Agreed. And I just want to pause for a moment here and just really indicate that this is the problem. So just notice that when you came into the conversation, it was, well, I just need to hire this layer and I need things to work more efficiently. But actually the problem is, or what you are facing, the challenge is really trusting, believing, being convinced that this person exists, that you've got the role and you know how you'd like it to run, but you don't fully believe that there is a person who can do it the way you want it done.
Sure. No, that makes more sense now that we've been talking.
Yeah, and you can see what we've done here has just gone a layer deeper. So the presenting problem is that I need a person to do X, Y, Z. Add a layer, increase efficiency. The real problem is, do I believe that this person exists?
That makes a lot of sense.
There's something really rewarding about being in the know of everything that happens in your business at every point in time. Even if it is the blow-ups and your phone has to go every 10 minutes, you know what's going on. The minute you get someone really competent coming in and taking all of that off your plate, you're free as a bird because it's all running. How does that feel for you? What happens?
Yeah, I think that would be great when you look forward a few years, 3 years. As of right now, we're still, like I said, growing. I don't even, I guess that's a challenge for me to think whether that's appropriate or not at this point. Just number one, probably from an affordability standpoint. And number two, just because we still are repositioning some of our projects and we're still in the infancy of the company somewhat. So, the ability to kind of almost be involved in that and still learn and grow every day. So it's set up in a way where I can pass it to, like you said, to somebody else that might be able to do that for me in the future. And
so what I'm hearing is that you're not ready to actually pass it on completely to someone else.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. And that may be your little bit of a paradox that you're sitting with. On the one hand, there's this wish. I just want someone who can do this and handle it and take it off my hands. But on the other hand, I'm not really sure that I'm ready to let go and really relinquish control in that way.
Sure. That makes a lot of sense.
And that's a common one. I just want to say that's a common one for founders, managers of companies, managing companies and managing employees. That level of growth where you now need to let go, surrender a lot of the stuff, let it happen. But that means you're a little bit more out of the picture than you used to being. And that's not a comfortable space. You need to find that balance for yourself. But you know that your next level of growth and efficiency and scale is going to be when you can really hand that over. So hiring more people at the level of the people that you've hired at the moment is definitely not going to solve your problem and definitely going to create a whole lot more frustration. It's about taking that next step and that next level of risk to say, okay, I'm now investing in that growth and I'm going to find that person who can take it off my plate and I'm ready to let it go. And even if I'm not ready to let it go, I'm ready to look for that person.
Interesting. No, that makes a lot of sense. And, hopefully that's in the cards over the next, couple of years.
When do you want to get this person in, this person that you're talking about now, not the theoretical regional manager who seems like a good idea, but you're not ready to really put the money and the training and whatever is required to getting him or her to the right place? When do you think you'll be ready?
Within the next couple of years.
When? Can you put a date on it?
Put a date on it. February 2023.
Okay, so you've got 2 years to build up to the place where you are happy and able to invest in a person who can do it properly. What are you going to do in the next 2 years?
Keep, accumulating assets, accumulating clients to manage their properties, producing on our business plans in terms of returning capital to our investors and profits, continue to grow the investor base through various different, marketing channels, and,
so keep doing what you're doing, growing in a small way, and keep the structure as it is.
Yeah, keep the structure as it is. Like, find that maintenance person that we trust as well. We talked about, and to continue to grow and buy good properties and produce solid results for our investors.
And what if you had to bring that date forward by a year?
We would have to probably double down on the acquisitions a little bit more, which we could. And we would have to, hire this maintenance manager quicker, which, we are working on, but it's not, it is a huge priority, but it's, not pressing. I don't need to do it right now. Maybe the next few months is fine. If we hired someone in the next month to help with that. And then, to keep finding, we do need help with marketing too. That's another avenue of the business, but that's a whole different conversation, maybe for next time. So maybe to find someone to help with marketing as well that has the experience.
Okay. So let me ask you, has this conversation helped you in any way, if at all? How?
Absolutely. It was you're able to get to the root of the problem.
How do you define the root of the problem?
Yeah, root of the problem in terms of, the ability for a lot of, like you mentioned, a lot of business owners and founders to kind of, they can't really let go. They have to see what's going on all the time. And that's my problem. It's a good problem, but it also could lead to issues when you're trying to grow. So that's the heart of the problem. And that kind of leads to the root of, even at the micro level and just hiring maintenance managers, it's still a part of me that's not really wanting to let go.
Not ready.
Yeah. So they're able to get to the root.
I do. And we can close our conversation here, because I think there is some stuff for you to think about, but I would love for you to think about, how do you take that step, maybe even before you're ready? Because how we say, when I earn this much, I'll be happy. Or when I have this much income, I'll be able to hire this particular person. How the key, and often with that kind of thinking, we just wait too long, or it just never happens because you never get to that point. So how do you identify the point that you can do it before you're ready, but it's the right time?
Interesting. Yeah, that's something that I'll have to look at the numbers. It comes down to the numbers.
It comes down to the numbers. So I'm going to leave you with that as a little bit of an invitation and a challenge and an encouragement to look at it before you're ready. Because if you can cover 2 months' salary of this person, and it's the right person who's going to help you get to that level of growth, you're probably ready to take that step. Because you think, your thinking right now is, I need to grow, I need to make the numbers, I need to increase the revenue to hire that person. And I'm saying, why don't you turn it around to, if I can support this person for 2 months as the finances stand right now, then I'm ready to hire him or her, because they will help me get to that next level of growth. It's not first grow, then hire. It's hire because then I can grow. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a great way to think about things. I'll have to think about it.
Okay, good. So what are you taking away from today's conversation?
Like I mentioned, what I'm taking away is we got to the root of the problem, and what I've been struggling with in terms of helping to grow the business is just the ability to. It's hard to let go and delegate everything and not being so involved. So, I learned that was the root of the problem. I think that's the key takeaway.
This wraps up another episode of Leadership Live. Thank you for joining us today. And now let's continue the conversation. Do you have any questions, comments, or suggestions? Connect with me on LinkedIn or head on to my website at daphnahorovitz.com, where you can download a free sample of my new book, Weekly Habits for Extraordinary Leaders. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to share it with a friend so that I can continue to reach and support leaders just like you. So tune in next week to Leadership Live, where talented people become extraordinary leaders.